Hey guys, Maverick Matthews here with a quick update. I know this week's show is late. It's because that some of the scumbags over at NBC Universal decided that they didn't like the fact that I used a little quote or a clip from Airwolf. So I had to go back and recut the whole show. You're going to see a section where I'm going to tell you we're going to watch a clip. I had to pull the clip. I'm sorry. I still think it's a good episode, but go watch episode 1 of Airwolf and you'll see the clip that I put in here. It is so stupid because all I'm doing is promoting their dumb little show, their dumb CIA propaganda show. But yeah, so I apologize that things were late this week. I'll try to clear everything with the FCC next time, okay? Glad you're here. Let's start the show. Pepper for your steak.
Where were you when the fun stopped?
I do kind of feel like I'm walking into a dream. It doesn't feel real. Wow, gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kranzakatoa. My name is Maverick Matthews, and this is a pepper for your steak dispatch.
Saying that such behavior on the part of
The power of his genius supplied the deficiencies of the imperfect communications of the Hierophants, and he himself became a master and a revealer.
We thought we had something different here, you see. We live in both a very fragile and precious experiment in democracy, and we live in an empire that is experiencing profound decline.
Reptilian agenda. Okay, let's talk about the reptilians. So you're saying the reptilians are luring humans to like Hawaii to vacation spots?
The news is there to scare white people. I've said this for years.
To live this life, you can't live the life everyone else lives. You're not going to be partying on the weekends. You're going to be performing on the weekends. You're not going to be watching the big game on a Thursday night because you'll be in a club. You have to have that mindset that you don't belong. You don't go to the rhythm of the rest of the world.
Pepper for your steak. I don't know what people want to do. But I wanted to do something like this. And I'm almost 50. And still it feels bonkers selfish to like turn a closet into a temple. This is a temple for art. And it's this art that I will give to you today. This is why we think it was all right. So here's the deal. I have a clip show for you today. And is that another train? Ricky. I have a clip show for you today. And it's going to come in 3 parts. The first part is an examination of a television show from the 1980s. The second part is a collection of clips from some of the podcasts I listen to. That's kind of the shit sandwich because that's going to be a little dark and hard, but important. And then we're going to finish with something I would call philosophical from Hunter Thompson. I'm continuing my defense of the good doctor. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you have an opinion on Hunter Thompson and you haven't read every single one of his pieces of writing that you can get, then come talk to me when you have. Sayonara. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little teaser here to wet your whistle about Airwolf. So here we go. This is just to get you excited about it.
It's Shotayim Dayosh.
Tanya, I like your spunk, but you don't start speaking English, I'm gonna spank your butt.
I want you to consider this one scene. I could do a 5-hour breakdown of this show. I'm not going to do that. I just want to break down one scene. Okay? So let me point out a few of the eccentricities of this show that I find incredible. Number one, Stringfellow Hawk, that's his CIA code name, okay, lives in a perfect cabin in the woods. A cabin that I would do a lot for. 2, the only way apparently to get to this cabin is by helicopter, because that's how everybody comes and goes. There's no mention of helicopter fuel anywhere in this show at all. 3, our character introduction to Stringfellow Hawk is him sitting on said helicopter dock playing a cello to a bald eagle. I'm not making this up. And when I say to a bald eagle, he out of his own words, he's trying to have a relationship with it. Okay? So he's got this perfect cabin in the mountains with a dock. Only way to get there is by helicopter, I guess, or airboat, but no one ever does that. It's always helicopter. And there's a huge peninsula where you could safely land helicopters and just walk over, but they land on the dock over and over, and it's old and wooden. And he plays the cello. And he doesn't just play the cello like and finish. They subject you to entire numbers where he's like seducing women who were like basically brought to him to sweeten the deal as part of, come on, Hawk, we need you to go do this thing. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. And they're like, look, Hawk, we got to leverage you. We brought you a lady. We stole all your art. Now you have to go do the project. All right, I'll do the project. Does the project. Magically, all the art's back up, but the lady dies. This is such a CIA limited hangout reveal. It is wild. And so I just want you to watch this. We're going to break down this one scene, which it's in the first episode of season 1. Let's watch this one scene, and I'll stop it where it's appropriate. How's that sound? Good?
Yeah, you just like eating ugly fish. You're like soul. Soldier. 2 eyes on one side of his head. There's an ugly fish.
Okay. Now, I told you I was going to break that down. I'm not going to break that down. I don't need to break that down. Donald P. Belisario, I don't know how he knew how to tap into the psyche of like a teenage kid, but this is about as cool a guy as you can get. Doesn't really get much cooler as far as like when you're growing up and looking for a hero. Yeah, I think we can all agree that could have been me, ladies and gentlemen. We all wanted that Uzi. We're gonna move into the clips now, and this is not as fun, but these are important clips. So much is going on right now in the collective unconsciousness. New egregores are being shaped, and it's important to listen closely. So I'm going to play the first clip from Roger Avery on Joe Rogan. Everybody heard this one the last time his stuff about Eyes Wide Shut made its way around the internet, and it was a huge sensation. This is an important idea to consider. So let's start with Roger Avery on Joe Rogan Experience. Again, not a paid promotion, just an aggregator of ideas. And then maybe we'll make a little comment. It's the teensy. Don't talk. Ricky, coffee. Whatever, espresso.
So that's sort of hard to digest. Like, what is this? Like, what are they saying? Like, some of it is in code, like walking over beef jerky, like talking about jerky. Could you walk beef jerky over to this person? Like, what does that mean?
For all this pizza they're talking about, no,
Right.
You never see any pizza.
Right. Yeah. They're ordering pizza.
I'm gonna get some grape soda. It's like with my cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And like, there's all this coded language, and everyone's like, oh, that's you just have pareola. You're just seeing things where you want to see them.
No, this is clearly a code. Well, that was the thing about
it's
Pizzagate.
Absolutely a code. And in fact, Mundis Vult Descipi, ergo Descipiatur. It's a long known concept. And so in Latin, Mundus Vult Descipi means the world wants to be deceived. Ergo Descipiatur. Therefore, it is.
Avery talks about a lot in this podcast, and some of it I completely agree with, some of it I'm skeptical about, and some of it I'm not on board with. But that's kind of how everything should be, right? But he goes so deep into the truth of what's going on about saying everything is fake. Literally everything is a construction, and the Matrix is a collection of beliefs about what reality is. All you need to remember going into this show, if you're skeptical on Roger, is that the word government means mind control. Governmente, to control the mind. Are you someone who needs to be governed, or can you govern yourself? Most of the world would rather drink a beer and just chill, and I would rather do that. I fight this same battle every day. You can hear it in the Kranzing. I say it over and over in the Kranzing. Thank you, by the way, for the people who gave me feedback on that. Don't believe any of the numbers on this or any other channel. They are messed with. I know lots of people who have watched that, and it's still like, oh yeah, 20 people saw your video. Okay, whatever. Thank you. Anyway, go find this episode on Joe Rogan. It's worth listening to. Moving on. Strangely, in this same episode with Roger Avery, Joe Rogan kind of shows his own cognitive dissonance. I think it's probable that we all have some somewhere. And if you are not actively trying to find your own, that might be dangerous. This is why it's important not to have yes people around you everywhere. You have to have people who will give you honest feedback, or at least a partner or whatever. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to blow it. you need to know and appreciate that and use it to write the course. Speak from experience. So in the same episode, Roger Avery brings up the earth that is like this. And I'll put a picture here, but I don't want to say it. I'm just trying not to get dinged for anything. I'm already in the gray areas. For whatever reason, when you bring up the people get real weird, as if you're not supposed to examine this reality. I'm not going to take a position on this. It actually doesn't matter to me because I'm still stuck trying to pay the bills. So if you'd like to buy me a coffee, please go to maverickmatthews.com. And we, Ricky, Sam, and Noah, would all appreciate it if you would. Thank you. We love it. We love you. Thank you. Charlotte, you're not on the coffee list yet. Okay? Put her on the coffee list. Avery brings this up, and Rogan immediately, you can tell he has an emotionally compulsive response. And coincidentally, Tim Dillon spoke about this at length in his last show this week. And I'm going to have to put another Tim flag up here, I guess. I should have mentioned him in the beginning. I forgot that I'd wanted to include this. So let's listen to Joe and Avery talk about the and listen to how Joe bombards him with what he believes are valid scientific arguments, which can easily be moved aside, or at least moved into the realm of no, it's actually not super definable or provable, or this is explainable XYZ. The point being, watch how Joe tries to bombard him and then says something. There's no way everybody could keep a secret. Because that's what Tim went on this beautiful rant. And we're going to listen to a beautiful Tim rant. And then we will move on to even slightly darker things. But first, here is that same podcast, Joe Rogan and Robert Avery. Pepper for your...
Like the faith that you have in these kind of ideas, and you supplement it with the faith of these other ideas. They're exchangeable.
They're only exchangeable if you don't understand the data, and if you don't understand what's actually been measured, or if you don't understand the path of satellites, or if you don't understand how many different people would have had to lie about this shit.
Okay, that's the Joey the Rogies thing, right? He throws that in there. He bombards him, and then he goes, you know how many people would have to keep a secret? Well, coincidentally, Tim Dillon did a big piece on this in his last show, and I think it's worth hearing. And I think I'm sure Joe's heard it, but I don't know that anybody's put these next to each other. So here's the GOAT, as they say, not a reference to Baphomet. This is not an evil demon show. This is positive energy. Thank you, Brody. Yeah, let's listen to Tim Dillon.
This is the thing about conspiracies. This is the one thing they always say. They go, well, how could so many people keep their mouth shut? There's no way conspiracies could exist because there's so many people. So many people would have to be in on it. That's like the dumb guy thing that everyone says. But so many people, no, yes, so many people can be in, but people keep their mouth shut about a lot. People keep their mouth shut about a lot. Threaten their money, threaten their food, threaten their family. You don't even have to threaten. It's implied. It's implicit. They know if they open their mouth, they're opening themselves up to liability legally, financially. People shut their mouth. People shut their mouth all the time.
How many different people would have had to lie about this shit?
How could people... There's so many people who would have to keep quiet about it. And they will. They will. What are we running around with a bunch of heroes in this country? What are you, fucking idiots? We got a bunch of heroes in this country willing to risk it all. I'm going to risk it all to help some woman I don't know. Half of those people they're jealous they can't rape the women. What are you talking about? What, a bunch of heroes? They're going to risk life and limb to help their fellow man? What country do you live in? Fucking get out of here. What country do you live in? Well, so many people would have to be in on it. No. They would gladly be in on it. They would willfully be in on it.
All right. The third one. Now, this last one, I almost didn't put in there because I don't really care about corporate politics. But occasionally, I think Graham is an interesting interviewer. I don't know where. I haven't done enough homework to even know anything about him. But I am interested in some of his guests. And it's interesting, you can tell, or at least I can, in the first 5 minutes of listening to someone, whether or not it's going to be a great show for you or, you know. So I'm going to play this clip. This is the head of Disney, former head of Disney, talking about the way he likes to feel in the morning. And I want you to compare Stringfellow Hawk to this guy's description. Take a look.
An office, a level above the street for a reason, right?
Well, yes, you know Neil Diamond's song, Beautiful Noise, about the cans and the garbage cans and the noise and how it gets them to sleep and so forth. I grew up on the 3rd floor in Manhattan. The street I'm on here is maybe the only street that I can think of that is like New York. There's 17 restaurants and coffee shops and everything on the street. You can walk to your dentist, you can walk to your doctor, you can walk to stores. You don't have to drive except to get here, and it's not that far from where I live. And everybody, I took this office. There's a high school. If you stick around till the end of the day, they're all screaming and walking up and down. Every fire engine goes by. I can go right to sleep. That to me is the most comfortable, is hearing that sound. When I moved here and it was quiet in our house, I thought it was a little strange. So I have intentionally come to where everybody can, we don't have a commissary, but everybody can go and stay on the street. Nobody has to drive anywhere. And it's much more productive than...
He said enough. We don't have a commissary. It's much more productive. Hey, we want produce.
What country do you live in?
Not what I want to make my dream. And it makes me super sad to think that if he's telling the truth, that he loved the fact that he grew up in a city and he just needs that hustle bustle, that's all stuff to fill this can up. So that there's no room for this, for creativity, for reality, to just walk in the woods, to be in the woods. I'm tempted to throw a Jim Harrison quote in here just to fix this. I might have to do that. I'm going to throw a Jim Harrison quote in here to fix the energy about streams or something. Not complimenting streams, but just talking about like how we have missed the point, how we like to hear garbage cans now. What are we doing? I love the clang of garbage cans.
He walked and walked. Turkey and Aravaipa creeks were obviously without brook trout, but he realized that was missing the point. The truly important idea is where creeks were, often in the most ignored and neglected parts of the landscapes, including marshes, swamps, and deep gullies, landscapes from which the human race couldn't extract money, and therefore they were mostly left to simply be themselves. Marion had said that we have eaten the world and puked it up, and except in isolated locations, what we have left is mostly puke.
This next quote comes from Duncan Trussell. And it's another example of a podcast that I immediately turned off after what you're about to hear. Because here we have an heir to a famous fortune which has manipulated global politics for a long time. And he's so checked out of reality that he doesn't realize where normalcy is. I have a lot of friends who don't realize where normalcy really is. And they're mad at me right now because they think I'm outspoken against like, I don't know what. I can't speak for them. But listen to this and tell me what you think of this Grammy winning guy. What's his name? Tony Rothschild? No. Danny Rothschild. Take a listen.
Brother, sister. She rolls her eyes.
What a world you live in.
It's a fun world, dude. It's
What a world.
among the stars. We just have fun. Everything's cool. Everything's
Did you
great.
go to any parties?
Ever since Diddy got arrested, the party scene has kind of shut down.
Oh, that sucks.
It's like we're kind of like he kind of threw the best parties. So it's like...
I mean, minus the,
if that's your thing, you do that thing. I'm just saying.
You shouldn't do the thing. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, speaks for itself. Duncan even has to kind of put the brakes on him. It's just, the veil has been lifted. Everything's out in the open now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we are moving into the last segment. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Kranzberg Injury Law. If you need justice, don't go to those guys because they just give hugs. We're going to do the last segment here. It is a quote from the good doctor. I thought long and hard about which to put in. Ricky, where is my latte? I had a heavy one in earlier. I had a big quote in here about the towers and all that. But I put one in that's a little more fun because you can't have a poop sandwich without the bread. You have to have the bread on each side. Otherwise, it's just a dirty hand sandwich. So thank you for being here. These are going to continue to evolve as the space evolves, as we all evolve together. And I have been across the street to the beach to try to surf, but now I feel like I'm running a little bit to catch up, so I have more of an excuse to avoid those fucking sharks. Ricky, where is my latte? Thank you for being here. Please do me a favor, and this costs nothing. Make a comment, because on my screen, I have 0 comments. I can go to analytics, it says 13 comments. When I try to look, it won't show me any comments. If they're negative, that's fine. I don't actually care. I'm not doing this for comments, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone in the world be blessed, be abundant, be bold. And I will be back soon. Yeah, next Friday. Working on that next show. Maverick Matthews, pepper for your steak.
Epilogue. The Song of the Gilded Swine. It is to the poet a thing of awe to find that his story is true. Isaac Denison. I am living the Palm Beach life now, trying to get the feel of it. Royal palms and raw silk, cruising the beach at dawn in a red Chrysler convertible with George shearing on the radio, and a head full of bogus cocaine, and two beautiful lesbians in the front seat beside me, telling jokes to each other in French. We are on our way to an orgy, in a mansion not far from the sea, and the girls are drinking champagne from a Magnum we brought from Dunhill's, the chic and famous restaurant. There is a wet parking ticket flapping under the windshield wiper in front of me, and it bores me. I'm giddy from drink, and the lesbians are waving their champagne glasses at oncoming police cars, laughing gaily and smoking strong marijuana in a black pipe as we cruise along Ocean Boulevard at sunrise, living our lives like dolphins. The girls are naked now, long hair in the wind and perfumed nipples bouncing in the dull blue light of the dashboard, white legs on the red leather seats. One of them is tipping a glass of champagne to my mouth as we slow down for a curve near the ocean, and very slowly and stylishly lose the rear end at 70 miles an hour, and start sliding sideways with a terrible screeching of rubber past Roxanne Pulitzer's house, barely missing the rear end of a black Porsche that protrudes from her driveway. The girls shriek crazily and spill champagne on themselves, and the radio is playing The Ballad of Klaus von Bülow, a song I wrote last year with Jimmy Buffett and James Brown, and which makes me 9 cents richer every time it gets played on the radio, in Palm Beach or anywhere else. That is a lot of money when my people start adding it up. I am making 99 cents a day out of Palm Beach alone, and 10 times that much from Miami. The take from New York and LA is so massive that my accountant won't even discuss the numbers with me, and my agent is embarrassed by my wealth. But not me, Jack. Not at all. I like being rich and crazy in Palm Beach on a pink Sunday morning, in a new red Chrysler convertible on my way to an orgy with a magnum of French champagne and two gold-plated lesbian bimbos exposing themselves to traffic, while my own song croaks from the radio, and palm trees flap in the early morning wind, and the local police call me Doc, and ask after my general health when we speak to each other at stoplights on the boulevard. The police are no problem in Palm Beach. We own them, and they know it. They work for us like any other servant, and most of them seem to like it. When we run out of gas in this town, we call the police, and they bring it, because it is boring to run out of gas. The rich have special problems, and running out of gas on Ocean Boulevard on the way to an orgy at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning is one of them. Nobody needs that. Not with naked women and huge bags of cocaine in the car. The rich love music, and we don't want it interrupted. A state trooper was recently arrested in Miami for trying to fuck a drunk woman on the highway in exchange for dropping all charges. But that would not happen in Palm Beach. Drunk women roam free in this town, and they cause a lot of trouble. But one thing they don't have to worry about, thank God, is the menace of getting pulled over and fondled by armed white trash wearing uniforms. We don't pay these people much, but we pay them every week. And if they occasionally forget who really pays their salaries, we have ways of reminding them. The whole west coast of Florida is full of people who got fired from responsible jobs in Palm Beach, if only because they failed to understand the nature of the social contract.